Here's our piece so far. Now, if you notice in Bill Higginbotham's work, this arm is exactly like this arm on both sides. I'm not crazy about that, okay? And as a wood carver, I have a right to change it if I want to. Not that I'm changing his design, I'm just changing a different way of doing it, in other words. I'm gonna make this arm like very similar to this, but I like to make both of my arms a little bit different when it comes to the figure itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make this arm down by his side like this, and then I'm gonna put the gun here, like he's ready to draw or something. And then on the other arm, I'll do it very similar to the other one. I don't like to really make my arms the same on both sides. I like to make them a little bit different. So we're going to do that. We're just, as a wood carver, we have a right to change things. Not that I'm anywhere different, but I'm going to go ahead and carve the hand onto the arm here as it puts down by his side like he's ready to draw. And this is cut out of 3/4 inch basswood, and the little gun is cut out of this I think is 1/2 inch basswood right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, all right, remember that this goes against here, so we just simply begin to bring this down, making sure that this area over here is flat, okay? Because it will go against the arm. And let's go ahead and draw. Well, I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do it in just a minute once I thin it up. Okay? Let's bring this all down. And even on this side, we can bring it down just a little bit. Mostly it's on the outside that we bring it down. All right, let's look at it again. See, I'd rather it be down by his side with the gun here as a type of drawing, and then the other side, I'll have the arm the other way. I've always liked to do my arms, if I can. I do a lot of things with the arms in the pockets and stuff, but I like to put the arms different on each side. Gives it a variety rather than just, I've noticed that with Bill Higginbotham's pieces, his arms are pretty much the same on both sides, and that's fine. I like to have it just a little bit of variety in my pieces. A lot of people, I'm sorry because of my voice, a lot of people ask me, they say, well, I can't see every single cut that you do. No, you're not going to be able to see every single cut that I do, because I want you to learn, but to also learn to carve your own way. It isn't just about It isn't just about doing something like somebody else. It's about finding your own style and the way you do things, in other words. So I'm not going to show you every single cut because of that. Because most of you have been carving a while and you don't need to know every single cut that I make. And besides, that may not be your style. I don't want you to just, it's not a purpose of just making something exactly like me or exactly like Bill Higginbotham. Because his faces, some of his faces are different from mine. Okay, we're getting it down. See how you can put it like it's... Now let's go ahead and draw our hand on here. And let's go ahead and cut it. Or let's, when I mean cut it, I mean to separate it from the original arm, excuse me. Just a little bit. Now, one of the things we want to do is we want to look at it and assume what side the thumb is on. Now, of course, on this side, your thumb will be somewhere in here. Okay? This is the side where the thumb will be. If you can't decide it, well then take your hand and go down to your side and look and see where your thumb is. And your thumb will be on this side. This is his, this would be his right side. Or is it? Yes, yes. I had to think for a minute, I'm sorry. The thumb will be in its place. So, where it will fit like that, see? And then the gun, it's still way too thick, but it will fit like that. Okay. All right, now we're going to come inside here and we take that thumb and we just sort of make it like that, and we're going to cut to raise that thumb up. We're going to cut like that. It's a little cool here today in Texas. Not much. Not real cool, but a little bit. I have had a upper respiratory problem for a while, so I'm going through that right now. When you get down here and you start opening that hand a little bit, be very careful. Take very little slivers at one time. Okay? Don't take large bites at one time. You can slip, cut yourself. You can also use if you want to, you can use a gouge, a small gouge inside there. I just use my knife. See that? And then this comes over here like this. We'll cut a little bit more. Okay, as we see that. Now let's bring this thumb out just a little bit, which means we bring this part down. You want to take very small cuts. You do not want to take large cuts or put too much pressure. This is as you see right here. You don't want to do that because that's very flimsy in there. Okay. And this is going to go over like this. And the fingers will of course be in this area in here. Just like that. Like that. See? Bring that down a little bit in there. Separate that thumb in there. Want to be real careful. You don't want to. There we go. Okay, as we look at that. Okay, now let's bring the forearm and this down. Okay. Let's bring this down just a little bit. Look at that. And let's just bring this down just a little bit more. And this in here. And as you see, now it begins to have a look that we want. See how I flip my blade to kind of make it have that look inside there? Thins it up, and it gives it kind of a rugged look to it. Okay. Okay. I'm going to flatten this out just a little bit more. Okay, looking good. Okay, well, I think that does it for the arm. Let me put this a little bit more in here. Thin that up just a little bit more. Bring this down a little bit more. I'll look at it on the figure. Sometimes it's hard when you're doing the arms separate from the figure. You have to gradually keep continuing to looking at your arm is in relationship to the figure itself. Because we always cut our cutouts a lot bigger, and then we go something like that. All right, now let's go to the gun. We're just gonna cut where the gun itself stands out, and we're gonna bring that down. We want to keep this side over here. We want to keep it. We want to be sure and keep it. And the gun, of course, is going to have to come further down here. We want to keep it flat against here because it's going to be glued onto here. And this is the trigger, and this is the grip right here. So we're going to bring that down. Being very careful not to get rambunctious, because this is very, very, delicate in here. Okay. I'm going to continue to bring this down. And take some of this off like this. You can use the push cut in here. Now this grip, of course, is way too big. It will have to be brought down. But we want to be very careful with this because it is very delicate in here. Like I said, it will fit back up against the piece like this. Okay. Just coming over here a little bit, making this grip, and of course thinning up this. This is the. I tell you, I can't think this morning, folks. I'm sorry. This is the trigger. Of the pistol. And it is very thin. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it just a little bit in here and very, very lightly bring that trigger back away from the grip itself. See? Like that. I mean, take slivers off of it, folks, because it is very, very delicate in there. And we can actually do it on both sides a little bit. We want to be careful. See how I put my hand against that so it won't break it? But the trigger is going to be very, very very, very, and look how I just, if you have a good sharp knife, you just barely swing that. There you go. Look at that. And let's bring this in a little bit. Boy, I wish my eyes were better. My eyes are getting to where they're not as good as they used to be. I used to be able to see so well, but that's not the case anymore. So when you get into this delicate work here, it becomes an issue. Now let's go ahead and get this. I'm just going to go ahead and put this across here. Take a little bit off there, because this gun does not fit. The holster is what fits against the thing, not the gun so much. So I can thin that holster, I can thin that gun up just a little bit on both sides. See how just, you really have to be careful, because you're really getting into some thin stuff here. Okay. Now, but when you actually have it on the side, you're not going to see too much anyway. Also, you can take a Dremel or a Fordham and probably do this delicate work with a Fordham and or a Dremel a lot better. Yeah, you do. Okay. All right, you see we're getting the we're getting it down there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just look like a, like a pistol. Now, the other thing we want to do is we want to start